Hi, friends. Welcome to another edition of A Kiss for Luck. I'm Steve Wolf,
I'm Charisse Wolf.
and we also have our Northern California handicapper extraordinaire, Mike Crutchfield. Hi, Mike.
How are you doing? How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Doing great, man. Fantastic. And our guest today is trainer Jerry Wallace. How are you, Jerry?
Very good, Steve. How's it going?
Going really well. Going really well. We'll double back to you in just a bit here, but on the top of the hour, we've got news. What do you have there, Shreese?
Well, we have some sad news. We've lost two legends this week. Today, this afternoon, just heard that owner breeder John Harris passed away at the age of 81. Harris Farms, huge. Carla Gaines was his primary trainer for many, many years. Very sad. Our condolences here go to the Harris family, Harris Farms, and anyone associated. And last Saturday night, Dwayne Lucas, the coach, the GOAT,
Yeah.
passed away after being ill. So many memories of that man's horses for me since the early 80s. Well, late 80s, really, going into 90. And what can you say? May they both rest in peace. And like I said, condolences to the families and everyone who loved and worked for these fine gentlemen.
All right. Excellent. No, that's a really good way to start the show. They will certainly be missed, but they certainly made a lasting impression on our sport. So that is a good thing.
One thing I forgot to say, honey, Dwayne Lucas's assistant for 23 years, Sebastian Nickel, is starting his first horse in his name tomorrow. The seventh race at Ellis Park, number 11, War Spirit. And from what I've been told, being ridden by his favorite jockey out there, Nick Juarez, will be riding morning line of 10 to 1. But I'm going to guess people are going to be betting that horse. All the best to Mr. Nickel. The owners, longtime clients of Mr. Lucas's BC Stables own, and it's an Omaha Beach 2-year-old colt. War Spirit. He will be running with an angel on his shoulder tomorrow.
Yeah, no
Yes,
doubt
sir.
about it. Let's see if see what he can do. See what he can do with him. Well, Jerry, so glad we have you on the show here today. Before we get into the handicapping picks, so how did you come into horse racing? Because from what I understand, your father maybe wasn't a thoroughbred horse trainer. Tell us about that.
No, my dad was a singer. He was real popular back in the 50s, late 50s and 60s, and then he kind of retired mid 70s. And he had some hits: Primrose Lane, Shutters and Boards, In the Misty Moonlight, quite a few of them. Did really well, and it afforded him to. He always was a big horse racing fan. He used to drag me out to the track when I was just a little kid, and pretty much grew up there. And then when he got involved in as being an owner, and so then I got exposed to the backside of the racetrack and spent a lot of time there. Um, and then when he retired, we went to Arizona. So there's a lot of horse stuff going on there. So just kind of been around it my whole life. I was actually had a corporate job for many years. I worked for ADT Security Services and ran the Los Angeles office here, for the corporate office. Did that for many years and started with as an owner and had a couple of trainers training my horses. And then I started buying some 2-year-olds myself, and I decided I was going to start breaking them myself. So we did that out at Mariloma Farms. Used to be able to rent stalls out there and do your own thing. And then we kind of ship in and run. And pretty soon I had other people sending me horses to break, and I was paying stall rent. I was shipping them over to Pomona for their published works. And a guy named Harry Nelson. I don't know if you remember him. He had stalls at Pomona, and he said, "Son, what are you doing? How come you keep hauling these horses in?" I said, "Well, because that's what I got to do." He says, "Well, you can have these stalls here." So I got a bunch of stalls from him, moved the horses in there, and then they got wise that I was training them, and they said, "Hey, kid, if you're gonna train, you got to have a license, you got to have insurance, all that good stuff." So I had to go take the test, and that's how it started. And I started at Pomona, ran at Los Al for many years, and then recently transitioned over to Santa Anita, and that's where we're at now.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So how long since you've had your license?
Oh gosh, probably 18, 19 years.
Yeah. So you left the corporate world for the big bucks.
Well, it's kind of the opposite effect, but there's a lot to say when you get up in the morning and you're able to go to the barn and see those horses, and it's just, it's relaxing. It's not stressful. I mean, I was at a point in my life where every time my cell phone went off, my blood pressure would rise because I knew it was another problem coming in. And after so many years of that, it was time for a change.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, you see, that's what Mike's going through right now. He uses this horse game to de-stress, I think. Am I right, Mike?
Yes. Yeah, I'm in the corporate world and I just love horse racing. And, Jerry, I had a question for you. When horses come in, do they distinguish themselves as far as ability? Can you look at them and kind of tell that this one is better than that one? And, do they do that early, or do you have to kind of work them into shape?
I think, for 2-year-olds, when they come in, you can kind of like the way they look, but looks aren't everything. I mean, I've had some good horses that look like quarter horses. I've had some good ones that are tall and gangly. It's just, you never know until you start working them and you put them with some other company, and then you can kind of get a feel for where they fit amongst others. I like to work them in company with other trainers' horses, so and it's pretty common in the morning, especially with 2-year-olds, people are looking for company, and you try to match them up where they fit, and sometimes it backfires. Sometimes you hook a ringer out there and you don't want to get caught up with Baffert horses or what have you. But, you can you really can't tell much until they start going a half mile, or 5/8 is really the part where the wheels start shaking, they tend to all work 3/8 and a half mile pretty easily. But that 5/8 kind of gives you an idea of what you got. Yeah.
And what's the best horse that you've ever seen with your own two eyes?
With my own two eyes, that's a hard
Yeah.
question. I don't know. I've seen so many over there at Santa Anita. I mean, even when I was a kid, I used to love Native Diver. He was one of my favorites as a child. Winning Colors. I mean, with Lucas's horse. I mean, he had so many great horses. Ali Sheba was one of my favorites.
Battenberg.
Yeah. There's just so many of them. It's hard to pinpoint. They're all just legends. And that was like going back to John Harris. I walked in the barn this morning. My barn's right next door to Carla Gaines. And I walked in this morning, and she just, I go, "What's happening?" She goes, "John Harris died." She was literally in tears. And then Dean Peterson walked up. They were talking. They were both crying their eyes out. It was very, very, and that was before anybody knew. That was early this morning. So, yeah, our condolences all go out to all of them. And the trainers, there's a lot of people that are really, feeling pain today because they did business with him. He was such a great owner for so many years. And, we lost a big part of California racing. That's a big hit for California, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And, Charisse mentioned Carla Gaines, but you're right. Dean Peterson, so many other trainers trained for him. I mean, my gosh.
Well, Debbie Winnick was there, and she hadn't heard yet,
Wow.
She was talking because we all kind of hang out at Clockers in the morning, and they're all talking, and that's like the rumor mill there at Santa Anita. And then I got back to the barn, and I saw Carla. She just got the phone call. So yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see. I know they're breeding a lot of horses. I've got a couple babies up at his ranch right now myself, and you have to find out what's going to happen with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
Hmm.
sir. Well, we probably the viewers want some picks. So we like going down memory lane. Don't get me wrong. We like it a lot. But the viewers might want some picks. So Mike and Charisse are going to go over Saratoga, the pick five. And what race are we starting in?
7th race tomorrow,
Yes.
July 4th.
July 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wore this shirt, of course. I don't always wear these shirts like this, but you know, I
I love
gotta
that shirt.
represent.
I
Yeah,
love that shirt.
yeah. It's
And
my
guess
Independence Day shirt.
and guess where we're going to be tomorrow, guys?
Los Al?
Yeah, lucky guess. You got it.
Yeah.
All right. So Charisse and Mike, take it away. Tomorrow, pick five, 7th race, Saratoga.
Do you want me to start, Mike?
Yeah, I want you to start and you go through the races and you call them and then I'll tell you what you tell me what you like and I'll add.
Okay. 7th race. This is my deep race. It's a maiden allowance, 6.5 furlongs on the dirt. Most of them are first time starters. I'm going to use the following. Number 2, Apalta. Number 3, Shadow Banking. Number 1, Worthy Charge. Number 6, Fort Nelson. What says you, Mike?
I'm fine because I was going to single number 2 Apalta, so we're
Really?
fine. Let's just go with that.
Okay. 8th race, which is also the start of the late pick for tomorrow. I'm gonna single, and Mike, it's your buddy, your pal, Flavian Pratt in the irons. Zulu Kingdom, number 4.
Yeah, I think he just beat many of these horses, but there's some new faces in here, and I'm going to add a couple of them in there. And so I like to add the number 2 Straight Cash. That's my first preference. 10-1 on the board. Broke his maiden at Santa Anita first time out, and so I'm going to use number 10 and number 5 Reagan's Wit.
Oh, who was entered last weekend and scratched?
For this spot.
Yeah, he was in the last race on Sunday, I believe, and he
Yes.
scratched. Okay, I noticed that. So we're 3
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I think he thought that this might be a softer spot, but it's pretty salty. This race is pretty salty. So, yeah, so I like those two to add with Zulu Kingdom.
Okay, the 9th race, I'm going to use number 1, Tank. And I don't think we're going to get anywhere near 12-1 on this horse. David Carlos, Luis Saez in the irons. Speed, speed, speed. He'll wire this field. My second horse is number 6, Final Gambit, Flavian Prot again. No speed will be coming from behind. So I say 1-6. What about you, Mike?
Well, I think you got to go deep in that race. Final Gambit is kind of unknown on the turf. Although he's won on the synthetic, I think that you have to use number 3 Luther coming from overseas. So you gotta use him, and then the horse that's really in good form is number 5 Test Score. So I think let's go ahead and we'll use 4 there.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Yep.
Moving on to the 10th race. I'm going to use the 1, Filia's Fog, with your buddy Kendrick Carmouche, 5-1 morning line. And I'm also going to use the 4, the morning line favorite, Locked, with Jose Ortiz. Okay, Mike.
I think you've been reading my mind. I like those two. I like Kendrick on the
Awesome.
rail.
Awesome.
They're going to have a tough time catching him. And I think Locked is one of those horses that I don't know how good he is. He came out to Santa Anita. won a nice race. I believe it was a grade two. He won out at Santa Anita a couple months ago and just looked like the real deal. And then
Grade one.
it was, I think it was a grade one. I'm
Yeah,
not sure. Yeah, was it a
the
grade
Santa
one?
Anita handicap. It was the big cap.
Yeah, he won that race and then he laid an egg. So I think this is a softer group. So yeah, let's just use the 1-4 there. I'm
Okay.
fine with that.
Okay. Last race. I'm going to end it using three myself. I'm going to use the 2 hour shot, Luis Saez, a bit of a price at 10 to 1. I'm going to use the 6, works for me, Flavian Pratt, 6 to 1 morning line. And I'm going to use number 10 with Dylan Davis, Witty. How about you, Mike?
Love that. I'll just add one. I'm glad you picked the number 6 because actually Pratt gets off a 10 who just won a minor stakes race
You're
at
right.
Pimlico to ride the number 6. So you got to use both of those. But apparently Flavian, I trust in Flavian. He likes the 6. But I'll tell you what, there's an old class horse in that race, the number 3 Surveillance. There's no speed in there. It's got Kendrick. I love this horse. From what I understand, they like this horse a little bit, and so and he's 10 to 1 on the line, only speed, $1 million earner, hard knocking horse. If this horse gets to the lead, they're gonna have a tough time catching him, and so let's just add the 3 in there, and I'm fine.
Okay, our ticket combined is $144.
Love it,
Right.
love it.
Want to split it?
There you
Yes,
go.
we'll split it.
Okay.
I'll Venmo you the money.
Okay, perfect.
Go big to get big.
That's
Woo!
it.
Well, I'm going to do a Ellis Park action here. That's what I plan to do. I'm doing a all turf pick three and starting in the fifth race, and this will be Saturday, the fifth.
Oh,
And we are going to go with in the fifth race, we're going to go the 2, the 3, and the 8. The 2 seems to make the most sense in there. The 3, Cheminot with Brad Cox, very interesting. Those two don't normally team up. When they do, they make it happen. This is just one of those weird horses where he's had a big layoff, but Brad Cox is 33% off big layoffs, so I don't think it bothers him at all. So we're going to go a 2, 3, 8 in that one. Then we're skipping over to the seventh race, and that's a maiden special weight 100K. That one's a mile on the turf, and we're going to put in the 4 at 92. That's Gaffleone and Brendan Walsh. She's hot as a pistol on turf. Spicy Princess at 8 to 1. That's Biancone and Asmussen. He's the only one that ran nice and even in his debut on synthetic, and I love coming back on turf. If you're running nice and even, that's what I love to see, coming back and stretching them out a little bit. I don't want to see a speed and fade or just 85 lengths back. So I really like that he's run a race, and then the 10 tearing up my heart, the 10 horse with Brad Cox and Cheminot again. So that's going to be the first 2 they could win. Let's go to the last leg of the Ellis Park Turf Pick 3. That's the ninth race, optional claim 75K. We're gonna put the 4 to 1 shot Anagata, and that's Gabe Saez and Mike Maker. And I've said this to Mr. Crutchfield many times, and I think we both agree on this. He keeps getting better every race. He ran a 64 speed figure, a 67, a 70, a
Yep.
73, an 85. Who's to say he can't run a 90 today? So we're putting the 5 in there, but I don't trust him completely because it's an open race. We got to go the 6, 7, 8 as well. So we're going to go all the middle horses, 5, 6, 7, 8. All those make sense. And oh yeah, by the way, the 8 is also Brad Cox and Cheminot. So it could be an all Brad Cox, Cheminot pick 3.
wow.
And that's a $108 ticket. It's a $3 base wager. But again, you got to put in the money to make the money. So that is mine. Jerry Wallace, what do you have for us, sir?
Well, I was looking at Los Alamitos tomorrow, and one of my fillies that I used to train is in the second race, that Gypsy Lynn.
Oh yeah.
And I really like that spot. If we sold her privately, the people that bought her they wanted to run her in the Los Alamitos stake. They have the 1,000-yard filly and mare summer, whatever it is, extravaganza deal. Anyway, she drew beautiful. She's on the outside. She's in the second race. What is she? What'd she get? Hang on.
7.
Number 7. And
outside,
they got a rider chance. She's got Aguilar on her. He's riding really good. I think it really depends on the track. The speed's been really favored. But drawing outside, it's been pretty good outside, and she will like that pace to chase. And the 5 furlongs is really, I think, her best distance. We could never we got 6 furlongs at Santa Anita, or we're running her 1,000 mile. The 1,000 mile or yards was a little too short. 870 was way too short, but she should really like that distance. And she's morning line 7-2. So I think she's worth the play. And I know she's healthy and sound, and she worked really good. I think last week they gave her a 3/8 over there at Santa Anita, and she worked really nice. I actually watched her work and started thinking, why did we sell her? But anyway, history. So I like Gypsy Lynn, second race, Los Alamitos.
So Nick Hines bought her, huh?
Yeah, the Sarge bought her. He'd been trying to buy her. He'd yell at me from the booth over there at Los Al. Hey, you got to sell that filly. You got to sell that filly. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times. And then we had her in at Santa Anita, I think for 10,000. Last time I ran her, 6 furlongs, and he was standing there with an owner, and I thought, oh, he's finally going to claim her, but he didn't drop. So after the race, he contacted my owner, and I understand why he didn't drop. It's not cool to claim, your client's horse, because he does business with that owner, Bill Branch, really good longtime owner, and it wouldn't be too cool to claim his horse. So he bought it privately after the race, and I think she'll do good. She likes that track. It's the right distance, and there's some speed to chase. She ought to do very well tomorrow.
Fantastic. Gypsy Lynn, second race, number 7 horse, formerly trained by Jerry Wallace. All right. Excellent. Have anything else to add here, Jerry, before we sign off?
No, I just want to appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me into the Wolf Den here. And it was a lot of fun. And
should we tell everybody how much fun we had last Saturday night when you were at the Wolf Den playing left, center, right?
When I was making all the money?
Excuse me. I want to.
I don't know what I'm going to do with all those ones, though. I can't go to the strip bars anymore.
Yeah, we had lunch yesterday, and I gave the girl all those ones, and she's like, "Where have you been?"
Yeah, I don't think. Do they even take ones at the strip clubs anymore?
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Not from what I've seen.
I doubt it. No.
Yeah.
Oh man,
you might get kicked out with a handful of ones.
Before you close out, can I give a 20-1 shot out for tomorrow?
If you do it quick.
Okay, gentlemen, pens up. Ready? Los Al tomorrow, 5th race. I'm strictly picking this horse off of the last 2 works. I'm going for a 20-1 shot. Number 1, Heber, Adon Farias with Mr. Orantes in the irons. I'm assuming he's better and able to ride tomorrow.
I hope.
Okay. So he's got to get him out of the gate. He's got to get him out of that one hole. I know he hasn't shown much speed, but I'm just not going to be a single in my pick 5, but I am going to use him. Number 1, Heber in the 5th race tomorrow.
Excellent. Heber. We always like 20-1 shots, Charisse. Always.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike? You got anything before we sign off here?
No, just excited to play the ticket with Charisse, and I think I think we got a good shot at hitting that ticket. I think it's well constructed, and I think we have a shot at it. So very excited about that ticket.
Good deal. Okay, well, that is it. Again, thank you, Jerry, for joining us on our little channel here at Kiss for Luck. And our normal sign off is very similar to a game show or rather a reality show. I guess it would have been back in the 70s. But Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Good luck on your racing endeavors the next couple of days, and goodbye.
Appreciate it.
Blow a kiss, Jerry. Blow a kiss. There you
There
go.
you go, pal. All right.